This is question problem 12 to 10. Coles Incorporation has a target debt equity ratio of 1.60. Its WACC, weighted average cost of capital, is 9.9%, and the tax rate is 38%. A, if Coles cost of equity is 16%, what is its pre-tax cost of debt? So in this question, we were given the WACC and the target debt equity ratio and the cost of equity, and the question asks us to calculate the pre-tax cost of debt. So we have to link all these variables together. So, and also we were given the tax rate. So how can we link them together? We just use the relationship, right? The WACC relationship. Our WACC, or simply WACC, weighted average cost of capital. That means it's the weighted cost of debt plus the weighted cost of equity. So it's the market value of debt B over B plus the market value of debt plus the market value of equity. So that's the weight on the debt and times, and because having debt helps to save the tax, so we have the 1 minus the tax rate. The tax, so this is called the after-tax cost of debt, RB. 1 minus the tax rate multiplied by RB, that's the after-tax. This whole part is called after-tax. After-tax cost of debt. So this RB here is the before tax cost of debt. So that's what this question is asking. And so that's the weighted cost of debt, and now the weighted S over B plus S times RS. So basically we just find each of these values here, TC, RB, and this one. So WACC is provided, WACC that equals 9.9%, and we were given the target debt equity ratio. So that means it's B over S, right? Debt over equity. That's 1.6. So from there, we can calculate B over B plus S. So their relationship is if B over S equals any number, so B over B plus S should be equal to 1.6 over 1.6 plus 1. So how can you easily get this number? You can actually, without loss of generality, if you know this, you can safely assume B equal 1.6 and S equal 1. Of course, this may not be true, but as long as their ratio maintains to be the same, to be 1.6, this will give me the same B over B plus S. So it doesn't matter. So and with that, you can just directly work with this B over B plus S, 1.6 over 1.6 plus 1. So this will give me 1.6 over 2.6. And here I don't want to go further and give a specific number here, because if you check the requirement of this question, it asks you not to run intermediate calculations. And sometimes this is very important to make sure your final answer lies within the tolerance level. So that's why I just write down the final b over b plus s like this one, and without using my calculator to get this number, because I have to round for this number. So if I know b over b plus s, then I can work out s over b plus s very easily, and this will give me so this is simply 1 minus that, right? 1 minus b over b plus s. So this is 1 minus 1.6, 2.6. So this gives me 1 over 2.6. And for the same reason, I don't go any further. I just write down the final answer like this one. Because eventually we have to plug in the number into the equation. So once I know this b over b plus s and s over b plus s, and we were also provided the tax rate, right, TC, and that's the 38%, 38%. And I think we were also given the cost of equity. Cost of equity is 16%, 16%. Or you can write this as 0.16 and this to be 0.38 and this to be 0.099. So now let me plug in all these numbers. 0.099. WACC equals b over b plus s, 1.6 over 2.6 times 1 minus 0.38 times this RB plus 1 over 2.6 times RS, that's 0.16. Okay, so now this is RB is the only only unknown here. And this is just an equation, so we can solve out RB. How do we do that? We move this term to the left-hand side, and then we divide both sides by this chunk. This basically is the coefficient on RB. So with that, so to save some time, I just write down the final expression for that. So this is gonna be 0.099. When we move this to the left, this becomes a minus sign. 1 over 2.6 times 0.16, and then divide this by this chunk, 1.6 over 2.6 times. So why don't I just directly calculate this number, 1 minus 0.38. So that's gonna be 0.62. Okay, so now let me pull out my calculator, or I can just use my Excel to get this number. So let me open a new sheet. So this will give me, okay, so 0.099 minus 1 over 2.6 0.16, and you have to use the parentheses here and divide it by, again, let me use the parentheses, 1.6 over 2.6 and then times 0.62. Okay, so this will give me 0.0981. So why don't I make this larger so you can see it more clearly? 0.098185. So then let me check the requirement on the rounding rounding requirement. Enter your answer as a percent rounded to 2 decimal places. So I can change the Excel format to be consistent with that requirement. So it's going to be a percentage term, and then it's going to round to 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places. So that's going to be my final answer, 9.82. 9.82. So that's the first part of this question. And part B, if instead you know that the after-tax cost of debt is 6.6%, what is the cost of equity? So now instead of knowing that RS, we actually know RB. We actually know 1 minus TC times RB, right? This is after-tax cost of debt. So we know that. So now, let me go back to this equation here. This equals 6.6%. So it's gonna equals 0.066. And that's my 1 minus TC times RB. So now the other variables are the same, but now we need to calculate this RS. This RS is unknown here. So now let me solve out this number. Again, WACC, where's my 0.099? WACC equals 1.6. Yeah, this is gonna be 1.6, not 2. 1.6 over 2.6. Again, this whole chunk, this is after-tax cost of debt. This whole chunk equals 0.066. And then plus 1 over 2.6. And then times RS. So RS is the unknown here. And then I can solve out this RS. Similar procedure, RS, if I move this chunk to the left hand side and then divide both sides by this 1 over 2.6, then I can solve out RS. So that's what I'm doing here, 0.099 minus 1 over 6 divided by 2 over 6 times 0.066. And then divide both sides by 1 over 2.6. So now plug in these numbers into my Excel sheet. Okay, so this equals 0.00099 minus 1.6 over 2.6 times 0.099 over 1 over 2.6. So again, if you check the requirement, enter your answer as a percent rounded to 2 decimal places. So I have to change the format of Excel percentage and then keep 2 decimal places. So the final answer for the cost of equity will be 15.18%. So now let me check my answer.